The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to our review show here of WWE Payback from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in front of 14,584 fans. I'm one of your hosts, Karlifornia. This is Jooseyboy. How you going, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, and we hope all of you out there are doing fabulous as well. And yes, we get it. The all-in review is coming, guys. Don't panic.
Fuck me.
It's coming. All right? We get it. We get it. But we're not here to talk about that right now. You'll be able to check out that in a few days. But right here, right now, we're here to check out WWE Payback. And I'm going to say right off the bat, before we jump into the matches, quick thoughts. I reckon it was pretty good. You know?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
It was. I thought so too. On a very controversial day in professional wrestling, but we won't be getting into that.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet, at least.
On with the show here. Bro, we start off with a cage match. Trish Stratus in the first ever cage match, takes on Becky Lynch in their big feud, Ender, brother. Jooseyboy, how about giving me your astute thoughts on the opening contest here?
All right, I want to say this. I think this was one of the best women's cage matches that I've seen in several years. I think that the fact that the majority of this match was actually based around either trying to escape the cage or using the cage in creative ways to inflict damage on your opponent, that's what a proper cage match is supposed to be like. As far as the agenting and the way that these ladies approached this match, they knocked it out of the park. Both women were really over. I think that Trish is absolutely nailing this return. And I also think that Becky Lynch looks like she belongs in there with someone of the caliber of Trish, even though, you know, the current divas just don't have the same place in my heart that, you know, people like Trish Stratus and the classic divas do. That's not their fault. But that's all the more complimentary to say that Becky really looked like an equal to a legend like Trish in this match. There were some really innovative spots. I loved the thing with Trish getting caught in the bars up the top. I loved the just the stratosphere. I loved the exchanging of the bashing the faces off the cage, even though you could tell that Becky wasn't getting close enough to the cage. Like, her hair kept hitting the cage, but her face actually wasn't. Whereas, like, Trish was, like, flicking her hair forward so that the hair was covering up, you know, cushioning, and it looked a lot better. But I thought that was a cool idea. All that is to say, I gave this opening contest between Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch in a steel cage a C+.
Greatest women's cage match of all time, and only gets a C+. Interesting.
I didn't say it was the greatest women's cage match of all time. I said it was the best one I've seen in the last couple of years. And honestly, the standard was set pretty low before this. So yes, C+.
Well, I think it would have been better than a C+, but then again, I'm not a hack that has to give ratings on every match out of an A, B, C, or D. So fuck you. Unnecessary. I'm glad they prolonged this story and gave Trish some time to do a real story, as opposed to doing a one and done like she did with Charlotte and all that. You know, this was the old WWE. I guarantee that first match that those two had, Becky would have just won and that would have been it. So it was really cool to see Trish be a heel as well and show the range that she can show. I'd like her to stay or stick around following this. You know, put her with someone else. You know, I think she's got a hell of a run left in her, considering what we've seen in this feud with Becky. I did pop for Tiffany Stratton being in the crowd, of course. Just standing there with her title on her shoulder, because that's what anyone would do, isn't it? That's just
honestly though, from a wrestling point of view, it's a great way to let people know this person exists. You don't see him on TV every week now, but there's someone important. You know,
why isn't she sitting in a seat, mate? Why is she standing?
I don't know, because you touch yourself at night. All right,
no, it's, over Tiffany Stratton. So yes, Trisha's first cage match. We knew Becky was going to win. One small note: the referee in this match is a southpaw, and he looks like the butler from Mr. Deeds. Good.
He did a bit, didn't
He
he?
did. Very slick hair. Good back and forth. Solid drama. Solid drama.
Mm.
When Trish was climbing the cage at one stage, I said to myself, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" The legs all spread and they're just so like toned and thin with those tight pants. And I'm like, man, she looks good in them tight pants, bro. It's okay. It's okay to find someone attractive and comment on it, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, the bulldog off the top by Trish.
Yeah.
Come on.
Epic.
That was so sick. I really popped also for the Widow's Peaks, Peak and the Twist of Fate, showing some homage to Lita and Victoria, who had the first ever women's cage match. Did you see that part where Trish was on like the top of the cage with Becky, and she had her legs trapped in the top of the cage?
Yeah, that was like the first thing I mentioned.
And the way that she just flung herself down so violently, dude, I was like, Jesus, scary stuff. And I loved the superplex, man. That was really epic. One thing about these cage matches, I don't understand why they have pinfalls and also escape through the door. I know it's an added element of drama, but fucking hell, mate. Zoe Stark gets involved, which, the point of the cage match is to keep people out, but Zoe gets involved, which kind of makes me laugh. The cage door to the face, always a favored spot in my life. Again, the manhandle slam, though. Okay, the one off the top was awesome, but the one where she does it just standing, every time it just doesn't look right, don't you think? She's too small to hit it. The Rock was at least like a big dude to hit a big rock bottom, but she's kind of, I don't know, it just looks like it's flimsy. But anyway, great finish. But I felt that the turn of Zoe turning on Trish was a little forced. I don't think that was necessary, but I'm guessing Trish is off TV now, so they needed to, I don't know, sever ties for some reason. You know what, bro? Let's move forward. Coming up next, you know who's here, bro? The host of WWE Payback, because WWE Payback definitely needed a host. It's the one and only Mr. John Cena. Juicy boy, tell me how you felt.
Oh, I'm going first again.
Yeah, do it again, bro. Do it again.
All right. Well, I love the stuff with John Cena at the start. I think that it was pitch perfect for Miz as a character to be unhappy at the situation, given his history with Cena. Miz is still a heel. He's been around all this time. After all these years, he's still having to put up with John Cena. Like, I like the way that he played it off. Like, why the fuck do I actually have to have a match where John Cena, a guy that I once faced in the main event of WrestleMania, gets to referee the match? Like, that was the vibe that he put off. I really liked it. This was not a very flashy match, okay? They didn't do a lot of crazy shit. No one was going to break their neck. There wasn't anything that was particularly, I guess, full throttle. However, I mean that as a compliment because this match to me showed off how valuable it can be when you have two experienced veterans just going in there and trusting their instincts. And instead of trying to do every single thing that they've ever learned, they did all the things that they needed to do to make the story all the more effective. I really liked the fact that both LA and The Miz both had beef with Cena. And LA wasn't interested in sort of like sucking up to John Cena as the babyface. The Miz wasn't interested in, tiptoeing around John Cena. He's not scared of John Cena, nor should he be. He's a fellow WWE superstar. So I like the fact that Cena got involved with both. And I also like the fact that they didn't start Cena's next big angle or next big whatever in WWE out of this match here. They used John Cena to provide his star power for this match to help these two, and then they left it at that for now. I'm not sure if John Cena's involvement in this match indicates that Miz or LA Knight will be a future opponent of his, but I like the way that they did this. And in terms of the in-ring work, the corner code breaker spot was a highlight for me. I ended up giving the match a B-.
Cool, very good. Yep, John Cena's here. He's the host. Although I did find it annoying that the ring announcer called him the greatest of all time. Don't do that. Don't do that. But it's always good having John back now in this kind of role. I appreciate it. So once he, okay, this is what makes me laugh, bro. Miz was killing me through all this, okay, especially the circumstance that they'd put him in here. John had just mentioned that he was going to be special guest referee for this match, and immediately you hear, "Oh, so like he's already up out of his seat, charging to Gorilla to get out there." Because the moment John said it, Miz was just like, "No, that's it. I'm going straight out there." And I also laughed that they already had an upside down W mic waiting for the Miz. What are the odds? I just love thinking if this were real. I've been doing that a lot lately with NXT. I laughed so much at the Miz saying that as a host, John Cena sucks, because he'd been out there a couple of minutes. He hadn't done anything yet to warrant being told that he sucked at his job. I love the ripping on John for being in the Barbie movie, and also on his dress, his get up. Once again, he should be dressed a bit more professional as a host, because as the Miz says, he's the best host of all time. And another thing that made me laugh, like so many things will make me laugh, Miz talking to the crowd, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. I thought that was great. And then out comes LA Knight, and I have to say, bro, I'm finding to be a bit annoying now. It's
stop
it's
it.
Annoying.
This
dude.
is when he started with this. Hold on, when he started with this gimmick in NWA, because he developed the thing in NWA, people online were saying the same thing. It's not annoying. The fact that it's annoying, that's why it's good. It's supposed to be. It's not good when you do it. It sucks when you do it. It makes me want to absolutely die when you do it.
It's annoying, isn't it?
But no, but it's not when he does it. Okay.
How? Why's that?
Just shove it up your ass. That's why. Okay.
That's a really immature response, Juicy Boy. Okay.
I know. I'm sorry. I can.
Apology not accepted.
Oh well. Oh.
Anyway, can I continue on my notes?
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Also, I saw the Miz do an impression of LA Knight leading up to this, and thought it was excellent.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So yeah, good little match here between the two. I knew LA Knight was going to get the win here. Seems like Miz is kind of stuck in this position here now. But I'm sure he's happy about it though. I'm sure he's getting paid a lot of money to do what he's doing, and every time he does do something, he knocks it out of the park, son.
Yeah.
Nice drama. Cena's inclusion was welcome. He didn't get too involved, but just enough for it to mean something of him being there, and it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't for the sake of it. So yeah, good match. Dug it. Let's move forward, bro. WWE United States Championship. Rey Mysterio defends against Austin Theory. I'm going to go first this time. So now, Juicy Boy, as we've been talking about the previous WWE pay-per-view reviews, if there's an IC title match on the pay-per-view, then the United States title doesn't appear to be used. Now we see the US title, no Intercontinental title. I told you all when they brought in that new world title for Seth Rollins that one of these belts would miss out each and every time, and here we go again. But that's okay. But I've been getting into the Gunther title defenses on pay-per-view. When Rey Mysterio came out with the Latino World Order, what the fuck is the PWO? They were wearing PWO shirts. Do you know what that stands for? PWO.
No, I
no.
Don't. No,
I would have thought you might know. Well, I'm going to have to find out now. PWO WWE. What is? Oh, Pittsburgh World Order. Are you serious? Fuck. Okay. So look, I'm glad that they kind of pumped the brakes on the Austin Theory main event type push. I think they need to take some time with that dude. He's still young. Despite the build to this, I felt like this was a bit of a TB match. One thing I noticed that was going on here, I guess one of the sponsors of the show was Cinnamon Toast Crush. Right.
Second time that Rey Mysterio has had his match be covered in Cinnamon Toast Crunch logos.
Really?
Like, at WrestleMania when he wrestled Dominic, their match was sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So they had the logo on the Titantron and the ring post while that serious father and son match was going on.
Right, because I thought it was a bit much having it on the Titantron. Okay, have it on the barricades or whatever.
Stop
the Titantron,
that shit.
please.
Stop that shit. Not to
Theory.
mention that we don't even have Cinnamon Toast Crunch in Australia, so we can't even.
We don't matter, bro. We've never mattered.
Yeah.
So that was a spin out powerbomb that Theory did from a torch rack position that was absolutely dime. I loved Theory. He got the knees on a splash, right? So Ray was doing his springboard splash. Theory put his knees up. Ray lands on it, stomach first. He pushes him up with his legs and he catches him whilst he's on the ground. Then he rolls back and picks him up. And then Ray reverses into a victory roll. What a sick finish that was.
Yeah, that was
Very
awesome.
nice.
The A-Town down into that
Mint.
victory
Schmick.
roll. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of the US title match, mate?
Okay, my brother. So perfect way to use both guys here. I think this is the ideal way to use Rey Mysterio. Have him competing for, a world championship or even a secondary championship like this, but have him working with younger guys because he's still a really good athlete, for his age.
Yeah.
But you put him in there with younger guys where they can still move around and be there for Rey Mysterio's stuff. And then in return, the opponent gets the rub of working with a legend like Rey Mysterio. I thought that this was a really great match from both guys, although I agree with you, it never quite got to the level of like a real pay-per-view match. It was sort of like I would have considered this to be a pretty good television match. And the final comment I wrote is Theory works like he has much more experience as a wrestler than he actually does. He seems I wouldn't say that he's comparable to MJF overall, but I would say that he is kind of that person who is wise beyond his years in WWE as far as his knowledge of the wrestling business. I gave the match a C-.
Okay, very nice. Backstage, Kathy Kelly about to interview Becky Lynch, and I was like, whoa, Kathy Kelly looking hot. Interviewing Becky Lynch, and I started typing, I bet Tiffany Stratton and like, I didn't even get finished with the sentence and she'd interrupted her. The same cookie cutter crap, Jooseyboy, every fucking time.
I didn't even watch. I fast forwarded it.
Well, why would you skip anything if Tiffany Stratton's on the screen, bro? Hubba. I love that she made all the effort to come all the way to the pay-per-view just to antagonize Becky and then leave. Brilliant. I love her. Let's move forward, bro. WWE Tag Team Championship. Finally, we get it back on pay-per-view. Street fight. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn against the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Take it away, Jooseyboy.
All right. I love a good brawl. I think that a good hardcore match, it's been something that's sorely missed in WWE for ages. This actually felt like a proper hardcore match. It felt like it was a fight as opposed to the typically very sterile weapons matches that the WWE has been known for putting on more recently. I love the idea of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens putting on the Philadelphia Flyers jerseys and the whole hockey segment, and the fact that they kept him on for the remainder or almost the remainder of the match. I thought that was really cool, especially since both guys are from Canada. They're known to be hockey fans. It got over with the crowd. I thought that this match was, it kind of, at the beginning of it, my feeling was Zayn and Owens are still pretty over, but they have nowhere near the level of interest that they did coming out of WrestleMania. It's definitely cooled off. However, as the match went on, the audience kind of rediscovered that interest in Owens and Zayn. There's something about the two of them and about their presence that when they perform, people want to get behind them. There's an ability to connect emotionally by Owens and Zayn that seems to resonate with people. And by the time this thing got to an end, I was loving it. I was like, yep, I see why Owens and Zayn are sort of getting a bit of a push and why they're, considered central players on the roster, even though I don't really appreciate how they've been used since they won the belts at Mania. Loved seeing JD McDonough get absolutely fucking wrecked. Fucking destroyed. That first clothesline that Owens gave him on the outside just fucking killed him, man.
Yeah.
And then he picks him up and he goes to pop up powerbomb him through the announce table. And the bottom of JD McDonough's back just hits the corner of the announce table and it doesn't even fucking break. And it looked like it really hurt.
It looked like it really
like it gave me an erection. It was so violent. All that is to say, I really enjoyed this match. I gave it an A-. But my final thought before we kick it over to you, my friend, is what the fuck is the company doing with the tag team titles? I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I think the titles look shit, and I think it's stupid that they have 2 sets of belts.
Yeah, look,
right.
they already did the thing with Reigns where they swapped out all of his titles and just made it one. So it's probably about time that because you know what, when they were holding both of them, you know, that silver on the red and the blue. Like when they first started, they were a black leather with like a bronze colored kind of.
And then they went
anyway, right?
And then they went to a black leather with like the silver plate.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I saw them holding them up and I'm like, they are so fucking ugly, those titles, that surely by now someone should be like, hey, can we get some new fucking tag titles? Look at them. Look how ugly they are.
Like everyone that's at home, I'm sure we have plenty of aspiring wrestlers, you know, that listen to these types of shows, our channel, and watch other similar channels. Can you imagine growing up and you dream of becoming tag team champs the way that, you know, the Road Warriors or Demolition or the Hardy Boys or Edge and Christian or the Dudleys were when you grew up watching, and then you work your ass off to get to WWE and you're finally going to win the tag titles, and that's what the fucking belts are. Your photos of you holding the title belts up when you're an old man and you're looking back on your career, it's going to be holding up this fucking toy. Like it's horrible. It's embarrassing.
It is. You know what else is embarrassing, bro? What city was this pay-per-view again?
Philadelphia.
No, it wasn't. It's in Pittsburgh.
What? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kurt Angle territory.
So they weren't wearing Philadelphia Flyers jerseys. They were wearing Pittsburgh Penguins jerseys.
Oh, man, I knew I'd fuck it up. I actually remember when I saw it on the show, I saw him put the jerseys on and I was like, oh, I better take note of this. And then I remember seeing like, oh, the Penguin thing. And I was like, it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Somehow between like then and now, like it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what we've come to be used to when it comes to you, Juicy Boy. So, look, I was excited for this because it was a nice change of flavor. Palate cleanser. I really laughed when Finn Balor. I would see how little it took for me to now not hate him. It just turned him heel, and now I get to see a side of him that makes him interesting to me. He went under the ring and there was a Pittsburgh Steelers towel and he threw it on the ground and stomped on it. And that was just like, that is so petty just to get heat. I loved it.
Served nothing, like did nothing for the match.
It did nothing to hurt the towel. The towel was in the same shape it was in beforehand. It just really it humored me. I'm not going to go through all the notes because I wrote a lot of notes here, but I do feel bad for Sami a little bit because he's doing such great character stuff with that bloodline storyline. But I knew as soon as that was going to be over, we weren't going to see those sides of him anymore. He's just going to go back to regular old Sami Zayn. So I feel like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit with this tag team title run, which is now over.
I do believe Owens is injured, and that might be why dropped him.
So like he did a swanton off the balcony.
Well, I heard he was. Well, I heard that
and he's injured.
If he's not injured now, I heard that the reason they haven't been doing anything was because he had an injury. But
I see. He has been injured. He wasn't injured in this match though.
How the fuck would you know?
I'm just not. You're telling the story, dickhead.
That's what I've heard. Don't take it as gospel.
Who told you?
Take it with a grain of salt because plans change.
Juoseyboy, you know, I just have to let you know that Kevin Owens, he might have been injured this whole time. That's why the tag titles have not been represented.
Dave.
I'm actually not talking to Brian Alvarez. I'm talking to Juoseyboy. And Juoseyboy, I'd have to give you 0 stars because I think you're a fucking asshole. Okay.
Like we're supposed to be reviewing Payback. Like,
oh man, okay, this really pissed me off, bro. Owens was bleeding from the head.
yes,
Just leave it.
yes. Nick messaged me about that, bro.
Oh my god, man, they're making him go there outside so they can wipe the blood off his head. Just leave it. It's distracting.
Yeah,
Stop it.
yeah.
We get it. You're PG, but you're on pay-per-view, mate. Like,
Yeah.
things happen. You don't need to interrupt the match to wipe the blood off his head. Fuck.
Yeah. My brother texted me and was like, what the fuck are they doing? How am I supposed to think that this is a real fight if they're blatantly cleaning off the blood off of his head?
Oh my god.
Like, he couldn't believe that that's like what they do now. Like,
the referee quickly gets on his little gloves.
oh,
Oh gosh. Anyway, I just thought, yeah, when Owens jumped off, when he jumped off the balcony with a swanton, I was like, Jesus, man! Like it looked like he really hit his feet and ankles quite hard on the floor.
I was thinking about his tailbone, bro. Like, I was just thinking about like his lower back, you know?
Yeah. You know what I hate, bro? When people hit a stunner or they hit like a move that usually people go down for, but they've planned someone to hit another move after that.
Oh,
so
that
the person
sucked.
doesn't go down.
Yeah,
I hate that so much, bro.
That sucked. So Kevin Owens has literally pinned all kinds of huge stars with a stunner. But this one specific stunner at the end of this specific match was only strong enough to make Damian Priest back up into the corner. Like,
what are the odds, bro? As
Yeah.
Sami Zayn's already getting himself geared up to do the haluva kick.
Shocking coincidence, man.
Shocking,
like,
bro. Shocking. Bro, okay. So many mad things happened like in a row. You know, you got Dominic coming out, which it always gets a pop like,
Yeah.
for me, because fans immediately like, oh god, I hate Dominic. So that's happening. You've already mentioned JD McDonough getting absolutely wrecked by Kevin Owens. Then Rhea Ripley comes storming out and puts Owens through the barricade, and I just thought that was hilarious as well. But then the best thing, it looked like Sami Zayn had the win, and here comes that little shithead Dominic with the briefcase. Just tumbles onto him, hits him with the shittest looking briefcase shot, but it's perfect that it was shit because it was just enough.
Yeah.
And the Judgment Day and the new tag team champions, and I was just like applauding. I was so happy that that now they've all got championships, so it's pretty cool. I thought that was fun. And I started laughing again at Finn Balor at the entranceway, going, "We got all the gold. Look at us!"
Yeah, with his Irish accent, like.
Oh, it's great stuff. Anyway, let's move forward, bro. We got the Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. So I was intrigued about this. Although it was kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure. Nah.
I feel like this didn't annoy the fuck out of me to the point where I was like, get off my screen. But I could have also taken it or leaving it. So that's pretty much how I feel about it.
It's a bit of a weird setup for Jey Uso to be coming to Monday Night Raw. So Grayson Waller, he's in the ring. You know what? His stupid theme song. Boom, 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 boom. But it's so like obnoxious. And it's the set. His set is obnoxious with all the plants and all the pot plants and shit. Like someone has to put that on a truck and they have to send it from town to town.
Yeah.
Someone's job is to water those plants, assuming they're real. So Cody talks about usually what happens with these segments. You know, he'll end up laying Grayson out with the crossroads. And I love the way that Grayson squashed it immediately and that was going to happen. But Cody's he's just here to announce that Jey Uso is coming to Raw.
Very weird. Very weird.
Why would Cody be the whatever?
I guess because Cody was against the bloodline at Mania earlier this year, and so like it's just
maybe that's planting some sort of seed. I don't know.
It's a very strange. At this point, Cody is like very far removed from the bloodline storyline. So
maybe they're starting to slowly re-enter. I thought the best part of the whole segment though, Grayson was all cocky in the middle of like starting to talk down to Jey Uso in the middle of a sentence. He's on top of the world. He's got his big segment on pay-per-view. He's talking down to this big star across from him. Within a second, Grayson goes from that feeling to being completely knocked out with his eyes glazed, with his eyes glazing over, out cold on the floor, just staring up at the ceiling, no emotion on his face. In one split second, everything's been ruined and he's not even aware of it. Nobody's helping him. That makes me laugh more than anything.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the segment. What do you think of Jey Uso going to Raw, bro?
I think it's stupid.
Why?
To be honest with you, because I don't understand it. So first
Why?
he reckons he's leaving WWE after what happened. Now he's not leaving WWE. He's just going over to this other show.
Maybe he'll explain it on Monday Night Raw.
Well, if he does that, then maybe I won't find it so shit. But as it stands, it sucks ass. All right, let's move on.
It's kind of similar to what happened with Ray and Dominic, though, isn't it? When Ray was turned on, he went to the other brand. So I'm sure at some point they're going to reconvene. Okay, let's move forward. WWE Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Raquel Rodriguez. What did you think, Juicy Boy?
All right, both of these ladies are absolutely stars. They both look great. They both wrestle great. They both look great in their costumes. They both carry themselves with a lot of poise. Like, they're both beautiful women. It can't be denied that part of women's wrestling, at the very least, is like you've got to have that look, that star quality.
I don't know why it's funny when you said the costumes. I don't know why that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Costumes.
Well, in any case, like, they're both fantastic. This match was extremely physical. Once again, the same comment that I made about the tag team street fight, even though this was a different kind of match, this also felt like an actual sporting contest. It felt like both of them had a goal. They both wanted to win that championship. They both were ready to compete fiercely for it. And that came across. This was actually one of my favorite matches on this entire card. I ended up giving it a B+.
Really?
I thought it was fantastic work from both these ladies. I definitely see a huge upside for both Rhea Ripley, obviously, as we know, and Rochelle Rodriguez as well. I just think that this was awesome. Did I just say, I said Rochelle Rodriguez instead of Rochelle Gonzalez, didn't I?
Oh my God, you got it even worse, dickhead.
Did I?
Rochelle Gonzalez? It's Raquel Rodriguez.
Oh!
Rochelle Gonzalez. 2 WWE pay-per-views in a row, bro. Io Sky was Shotzi, or Shotzi, as you said. Oh my God, Rochelle
I keep
Gonzalez.
mixing up people's names. It's just fucked. Like
that is amazing, bro. I can't wait to tell the boys that you did it again. Juicy Boys,
yeah, that'll be a short up on the channel.
Oh, that's great, dude. That's great. Okay, so yes, Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez. Again, Raquel, too much smiling in your entrance, mate. Got a world title match here. Very serious situation.
She has a beautiful smile, man. You never like her smile.
No, but smile when you're not about to have a fight with a real tough bitch. Okay. I get annoyed at Roxanne Perez for doing on NXT. Too much smiling when you're about to go out there and have a fight.
Yeah.
I know that she's been told to do that though. And you know, I just thought, you know what, during this match, I just thought to myself, this is so funny. This has been such a great pay-per-view. Everybody backstage must be laughing their fucking ass off over AEW right now. And what the fuck is going on over there? Fuck me. So I noticed that Rhea's nose was bleeding. Maybe we needed to get someone out there to quickly clean it up because we don't want to offend anyone with a little bit of blood, do we?
Oh, wait a sec. You mean they pick and choose based on like some weird thing that no one understands?
Yeah, fuck. You know, you really liked the match. I actually kind of thought that they had a tough time kicking into like that next gear. I'm not sure what it was. I felt like the chemistry was a little bit off. Maybe they needed to work with each other a little bit more on house shows leading up to this. Maybe they did, but I just felt like it wasn't there. Like, remember when Alexa Bliss faced Bianca Belair and they just did not match well? I feel like it wasn't as bad as that, but something just wasn't there for me.
That's a good example, because in that match it was like both these people are talented, but it's just not clicking.
It just that match just was, oh, man. so obvious that it wasn't working. But again, dude, here comes Dominic.
Yeah, this was great.
Oh man, he's trying to help Rhea get out of the ring. Of course, Raquel's pulling Rhea, and that means Dominic gets pulled into the ring, which is a great spot. I love that. He ends up copying a power slam from Raquel, and everyone just loves seeing the shit get kicked out of him. He's in a real great spot, bro.
It also constantly pops me that he's always wearing attire that's reminiscent of Eddie Guerrero's, like in the late 80s, early 90s, like with the tassels and stuff. Like he's deliberately taking after his kayfabe real father, Eddie Guerrero. But no one ever mentions it, but that's just the style of attire he now wears. And he's got the Eddie Guerrero-esque mullet and stuff going. It's just so funny. He's clearly doing it as like a tribute to Eddie Guerrero, and you know what,
bro? The other day when we went to see NHPW, there were a few guys there that had identical haircuts to Dominic Mysterio. So it's
catching on.
It's catching on with people, bro. Anyway, so after that, that was enough. Him being in the ring is enough of a distraction for Rhea to hit the Riptide and retain the World Women's title. Dom on fire tonight. I love the finish. Yeah. So John Cena was the host of the show. He was referee earlier in the show. Then he interviewed the Judgment Day. What did you think of what John was dressed in? What the fuck was going on there?
I don't know. I think that John Cena, like him in this role, is not as offensive to the senses as, like, say, if they would have brought back, say, I don't know, let's pick someone at random. Say they brought back JBL or like somebody like that to do the same role. It just wouldn't have been as charming, even though I like JBL. It's just often when they bring back former wrestlers for these hosting roles, it just doesn't work. But because John Cena is basically one of the most legendary WWE superstars of all time, same as if they get Stone Cold to fill the role, it works when a star of that caliber does it, because they elevate the normally crappy material up to another level. Yeah. So just the whole image of John Cena being in sort of a subordinate position and being like the interviewer is in itself amusing, you know? Like,
I don't know why he had to be dressed like such a dickhead, though. But
yeah, I know.
It was funny. It was a funny visual. Let's move forward, bro, to the main event of the evening. WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins takes on Shinsuke Nakamura. I get to go first this time. So there. I like the heel Shinsuke, bro. I like the promos, the him talking in Japanese, and he knows that Seth's got a bad back. And I thought to myself, he's in the main event here for the world title. And it makes me think, because I've only really been watching the pay-per-views with you over the last few years, what have I even done with him? Like, I know he was teaming with Rick Boogs at one stage, and I don't know. I'm just like, what have you done with this guy for the last few years? Now he's suddenly in the main event here. But it's a little bit of a foregone conclusion. I don't think anyone really thought Shinsuke was going to win this. I did notice that during one of Shinsuke's bit of verbiage that was being translated, there was one line that I thought you might have laughed at, that Seth's like a horse at the end of his legs. He's like a horse.
Like, you know, he's like a horse.
He kicked me in the head like a horse. Hopefully some people out there get the reference. So you know what? I thought this felt like a weird main event. It felt like the back end of this card was kind of weak in comparison to some of the other matches. I don't know why. I think because the cage match was so good and the street fight was so good. I don't know. It feels like this show's missing something, bro. And I'm not bagging Seth Rollins, but we've been having pay-per-views with Lesnar, with Roman Reigns and all that, and they are not present on this pay-per-view. So it feels like it's missing something. You know, there's no Drew McIntyre, etc. There's no Lashley, again, is not on pay-per-view. What the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
No Omos, etc.
It's definitely a show where you feel like nothing world shattering in the WWE is going to take place on this show. Like, you know, yes, a couple of titles may change hands, but overall, the status quo of the WWE is not going to change with this pay-per-view. That might be what you mean, because it definitely feels like everyone did great, but let's be honest, there were a couple of their A-tier players were missing from this show, you know?
Exactly.
And there were people that have also been, like people like Chad Gable that are experiencing a real burst in popularity right now on TV. People are enjoying seeing him. You know, I think, where was he? You know, he couldn't have been in a backstage segment or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, you know, I guess they're waiting for that Gunter Chad Gable match on Raw for the IC title. But I thought, you know, this is only 6 matches on this show. Again, with the pay-per-views, they put 6, 7 matches on. And I think to myself, you've got all these people in NXT waiting to come up. Like, and there's so many people in the roster, like Lashley, who hasn't been on pay-per-view in months. It's just baffling to me. Like, what are they going to do when Randy Orton comes back or whatever, you know? I just feel like, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, look, I did like this match, although I was just feeling like it just didn't feel like it was the headline match. I thought to myself, there's something else happening after this. So anyway, yeah. Nakamura's a title challenger at this point, a bit far-fetched because it's essentially been AWOL for me. Because I felt like this show before the last 2 matches was well on its way to being like an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. But I felt really deflated by the ending. I don't know why. Because I knew Seth was winning, and I didn't see any sort of big time story taking place that's going to make, you know, us have this massive hook going into the ending of the pay-per-view. Like, you know, a big, like, I don't know. You know, I'm talking about the big, you know, big grand finale where something really dramatic is going on. Cliffhanger, that's the word. So anyway, the crowd did seem to get behind Seth. And a landslide was hit off the top rope, which I thought was pretty nice. But look, I'll give the guys credit. They went for it. They went for it and tried to have a really, really good match. So it was good to see Nakamura have a good showing here. Seth retains, nice finish. Just feel like Seth's first 2 feuds with the title have been a little bit weak. I feel like Finn and I feel like Shinsuke were kind of just thrown in there. It's kind of like when Hangman Page won the AEW title and his first feud was Lance Archer. It's like, what? Like, how did that happen? So anyway, bro, take it away. What did you think of the main event?
Well, I feel a little bit differently about this match perhaps than you, although I understand where you're coming from. There was definitely a feeling of like, you know, it's not the top of the top of what we could be getting. But I do feel a little bit differently in that I liked the fact that since Seth has had this World Heavyweight Championship, they're kind of conditioning the audience to look at that championship as the one where, okay, let's take a guy in the upper mid card that may not get a championship match that often and give him a shot to have a great match, because you can do that because you have Roman over there with the other belt, and you know that one you wouldn't just give anyone a shot against Roman Reigns, you know, but this one here you can give more opportunity to people that maybe haven't had like a big time spotlight on him in a while. As far as what you were saying about where has Shinsuke Nakamura been, I was discussing this with my brother Nick earlier, and it's like they bring him in, they had him win the Royal Rumble, they had him have his feud with AJ Styles where they kept on ending all these matches with disqualification via the low blows. He couldn't speak English. He had that great match with John Cena where Cena landed really rough on that reverse suplex that Nakamura does, and some people wanted the opportunity to blame Nakamura for it, even though Cena came out and said it wasn't his fault. And then it seems like after that, they just relegated him to, he's good enough that they're not going to fire him when they do their rounds of releases, but he's obviously going to just be floating around being used as needed. Obviously, that's a Vince McMahon call. Triple H has been a big supporter of Shinsuke going back to the NXT days. So I think that's why he's here. Behind the scenes, the year that Shinsuke actually won the Rumble and was going to WrestleMania, there's a little thing backstage where you see Seth Rollins come up and congratulate him, and it's shown that they're friends. and that Rollins is a fan of Nakamura's work in real life. So
Mm.
I also have to believe that has something to do with Nakamura being put in this position. I like that Nakamura is finally getting a bit of focus put back on him, even if it doesn't continue. See, some people always like to say that, oh, they'll give him a push for a bit, but then they'll drop it. No. Even if someone gets a push for 3 weeks, that's still 3 weeks of being a prominent talent on the show that they didn't have before those 3 weeks. So each time that someone is involved in something awesome, that's one more thing that they've got, under their belt. And I feel the same way about Nakamura getting this championship match here. This was our flamboyancy match of the evening. Both guys have colorful characters, outrageous costumes, attires, however you want to say it. The audience enjoys singing along to both their themes, or at least at one point they did with Nakamura when he was a babyface. But so there's the commonality between the two, that they both have these very mysterious, flamboyant, sort of colorful characters that stand out a lot. Seth did a good job of making this World Heavyweight Championship seem more important than I thought it was going to seem when they first introduced it. Obviously, when they first introduced it, I was like a lot of other people. I was like, this isn't going to work. But, I also wanted to give it a chance. I do think that he's doing the best that he can to make this championship. This, again, was another match that felt like an athletic contest. And the final point that I want to make, I ended up giving this match a B+ as my final rating. But the final point I want to make for everyone out there is this match is an example of how the modern style of wrestling can work well if it's kept reined in within the boundaries of being somewhat realistic. So these guys did a lot of spectacular stuff. They did a lot of things that you obviously won't see in a real fight in real life, but it was not too far-fetched that you couldn't still suspend your disbelief and get lost in it. I thought this was a great little match here. Do I think that it equaled the quality of, say, like the main event in Wembley or even the opening match at Wembley? Not really, but I don't think that that was the goal that they set out to do with this title match either.
Yeah, very cool, bro. Very cool. Well, that brings us to the end of our review here, Juicy Boy. I require your rating out of 10.
All right, I'm going to give Payback 2023 a 7 out of 10. No one's actually seen my all-in rating yet, but I'm giving Payback a 7 out of 10. I thought that this was a very solid effort, and I continue to be interested in the main acts in WWE and very uninterested in anything that's not at least happening in the mid-card title picture, because they're still doing a terrible job of making their lower card seem important.
Interesting, bro. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was doing really well there for quite some time, but just fell off a little bit there at the end for me. But it is what it is, mate. So, Juicy Boy, thank you again for your time. And we need to let everyone out there know that if they go to our Patreon, the WZWA Slam Society, our Patreon, $3 a month. But at the moment, we're actually putting up some free reviews there for y'all. Juicy Boy just did MLW Fusion the other day. I did Impact Wrestling and also did NXT. And then last week I did NWA Power. So we're going to keep trying to chip away at them every week. So if you want to check it out, you like what you see, then please sign up. And then when they go behind the paywall, you'll get to see them. And it's like, what? So $3 a month. That's bugger all, mate.
Man, you guys won't even fucking notice it, but we will. We'll notice that $3 a month. That shit will help us pay the bills.
Yeah.
But it's not just reviews. It's additional gaming content that's too hot for TV. It can't go on YouTube. It's too hot for YouTube. So it's uncensored. It's behind there in its unedited, uncensored, disgustingly crass glory, and that's where you can see that kind of shit, including a never before seen edition of Chef's Love Shack, which was a popular video, the first episode of which is available publicly on our main YouTube. That is just one such example of the other kind of awesome shit you can get on our Patreon, Karlifornia.
Yep, awesome stuff. Also, check out our t-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com under the store Thunder Mifflin. They're a little bit more pricey than the $3 a month for the Patreon, but you know, it is
high quality cotton. Like
high quality cotton,
good quality merch.
It breathes. It's nice. Yeah. I feel quite comfortable in this shirt right now. You know, so anyway, thank you everyone for joining me and Jooseyboy here on our review here for WWE Payback. And I'd have to say the performer on this show here was definitely Rochelle Gonzalez. So thank you all once again, Jooseyboy, Karlifornia. See you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.